I'm Claire Ridgway, founder of the Tudor Society and the Anne Boleyn Files website. Also author of several history books, including this one, which is the inspiration for these daily talks. I'm going to be with you every day of this year with a different On This Day in Tudor History event. Now, today I'm going to share with you an extract from an ebook that is available to Tudor Society members. It's Tudor Feast Days, and today is Candlemas. So I'm going to share an excerpt from that ebook on the Feast of Candlemas. Now, Candlemas, or the Feast of the Presentation of Christ in the Temple and the Purification of the Blessed Virgin, is celebrated on the 2nd of February. It commemorates the purification, or churching as medieval people would have called it, of the Virgin Mary 40 days after the birth of Jesus Christ, when it was traditional for the mother to make an offering or sacrifice according to Jewish law. And it also commemorates the presentation of the baby Jesus at the temple in Bethlehem. Now, as Wells Cathedral explains on its website, the season of Christmas, which includes the celebration of the visit of the wise men to the child at Epiphany, lasts for 40 days and ends with the Feast of Candlemas on the 2nd of February. So not just the 12 days of Christmas, but the season of Christmas lasts for 40 days and doesn't end till today with Candlemas. And that is still true in the church today as it was in the Tudor period. But most of us have put Christmas behind us long before Candlemas. Now, in his book, The English Year, Steve Roud explains that, as the name suggests, Candlemas's key element was a preponderance of candles. Candles were blessed in church services and then carried around the parish. Their light symbolising Christ lighting the way for his followers, and harking back to Simeon's words when he blessed the Christ child and his parents in the temple, which are recorded in the Gospel of Luke, about Christ being a light to lighten the Gentiles and the glory of thy people Israel. Now, the Wells Cathedral website also explains that this Feast of Candlemas, celebrated by the lighting and extinguishing of candles, hence its name, is a bittersweet feast. For the old man also warns the child's mother of the pain and suffering she is to face because of her son. So Candlemas looks backwards to the birth of the child and the joy of Christmas, but also forwards to the suffering and death on the cross. Ronald Hutton, in his book Stations of the Sun, which I would highly recommend, very good, writes of how in the 15th and early 16th centuries, the craft guilds of Aberdeen provided pageants to accompany their members through the streets with their candles. And he also says that some towns and cities held municipal feasts and put on entertainment, all to celebrate the Feast of Candlemas. Now, it appears that the practice of blessing candles, which had been part of Candlemas in pre-Reformation England, was frowned upon after the Reformation. We have Archbishop Thomas Cranmer writing to Bishop Bonner on the 27th of January 1548, informing him that the Lord Protector, who of course was Edward Seymour, has decided that no candles should be borne upon Candlemas Day, nor also from henceforth ashes or palms used any longer. And he's talking about ashes for Ash Wednesday there and palms for Palm Sunday. These were seen as superstitious Catholic rites, no longer, worthy of being part of the Protestant Church. Now, one tradition associated with Candlemas is the idea that the weather on Candlemas Day is a predictor of whether winter is nearly over. If Candlemas be fair and bright, come winter have another flight. If Candlemas brings cloud and rain, go winter and come not again. So if you live in the UK, which is what this verse was about, England at the time, you ought to look out of your window. Now go and have a look. Is Candlemas fair and bright? Then winter's going to last a bit longer. Is it cloudy and rainy outside? Well, you're okay. Winter's nearly over. Now, in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, a groundhog known as Punxsutawney Phil predicts the weather every 2nd of February as well. And this all harks back to Candlemas and the traditions to do with Candlemas. According to legend, if Phil sees his shadow on February the 2nd, the scared groundhog returns to his burrow and the USA is in store for 6 more weeks of winter. But if he doesn't see his shadow, the country can expect warmer temperatures and an early spring. So I wonder what Punxsutawney Phil will predict this year, and perhaps you could leave a comment when you have seen what he's predicted so that I can find out. I'd be interested to know how the US is going to fare as well. Now, by the way, in Tudor times, they had this 40-day season of Christmas, and they left their Christmas decorations, i.e. the greenery, the evergreens that they brought into their home, things like holly and ivy and mistletoe, they left those decorating the home, bringing a bit of colour into their homes until Candlemas Eve, so until the evening of February the 1st. Now, 17th century poet Robert Herrick wrote in his poem, Ceremony upon Candlemas Eve, "Down with the rosemary and so, down with the bays and mistletoe, down with the holly, ivy all, wherewith ye dressed the Christmas hall. That so the superstitious find, no one least branch they're left behind. For look how many leaves there be, neglected there, maids trust to me, so many goblins you shall see." So do make sure that you have taken down all of your Christmas decorations, that there aren't any Christmas cards, just on a shelf somewhere. Luckily, those little lights behind me aren't Christmas ones, so I'm okay. But make sure that you've taken everything down now, because you really don't want to encourage those goblins into your home, do you? So there you go. That's Candlemas, which was celebrated and still is in some churches today, but in Tudor times was an important day in the religious calendar and was seen as being the end of the Christmas season. You can subscribe to my On This Day in Tudor History videos by just clicking on that button just down there. But I'll be back tomorrow with another event for you. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.